In this video, we are going to show you the perfect itinerary for French Canada. One of the questions we get the most is how to build a logical itinerary that explores French culture in North America, combining the vibrant metropolis of Montreal, the historic and walled Quebec City, and the impressive natural landscapes of the Charlevoix region. To do this trip without rushing, enjoying the gastronomy and scenic roads, we recommend at least 10 to 12 days. That is why we prepared a super complete 12-day itinerary, detailed day by day, for you to live the best of this region. So let us get started. What is the best time to visit French Canada? The region has 4 well-defined seasons. The best time by far is summer from June to September, when days are long. Cities are full of festivals and whales are in the St. Lawrence River. Autumn in September and October is spectacularly beautiful with tree leaves turning red and orange, ideal for the Charlevoix road trip. Winter from December to March is magical, but requires preparation for the intense cold of 4 degrees below zero Fahrenheit, being the season for skiing and the Quebec Winter Carnival. Spring is the thaw season and sugar shacks. And how many days to stay? To do this itinerary covering Montreal, Quebec City, and the Charlevoix route to the Wales, the bare minimum we recommend is 10 days. But to take it easy and eat well, the ideal is 12 days. With 12 days, you can stay 4 nights in Montreal, 3 nights in Quebec City, and 3 nights in Charlevoix Bay Saint Paul or La Malbaie. Now let us talk about transportation, how to get around on this route. To arrive, the ideal is to fly into Montreal Airport Montreal, which receives the majority of international flights. To move between Montreal and Quebec City, the VIA rail train is excellent costs, starting from $35 and takes 3 hours. However, to explore the Charlevoix region with freedom, renting a car is essential starting from Quebec City. Road 138 and Coastal Route 362 are attractions in themselves. If you are driving from Montreal, the trip takes about 3 hours to Quebec and another hour to Charlevoix. Now, let us get to the day by day. Day 1. Arrival in Montreal and downtown. Arrive via Trudeau Airport and take the 747 bus to downtown. It costs about $8. Check in at the hotel. Start exploring St. Catherine Street, the heart of shopping. If it is cold, go down to the Underground City RESO through the Eaton Center Mall. Have a smoked meat sandwich for dinner at Dunnes Famous, which stays open late and is delicious. Day 2. Old Montreal and Light Show. Spend the day in Old Montreal. Walk along St. Paul Street full of galleries. Have lunch at Place Jacques Cartier. Visit the Notre Dame Basilica and return at night to see the Aura Spectacle, a light show projected inside the church that costs $25 and is moving. End the day at the Great Observation Wheel in the Old Port to see the illuminated city. Day 3. Mount Royal and Plateau. Climb Mount Royal by bus or on foot to see the panoramic view from the lookout. Go down to the Plateau Mont Royal neighborhood. Have lunch with the famous poutine at La Banquise. The classic costs $9. Walk through the colorful streets and go to the Mile End neighborhood to taste bagels at Saint Viateur or Fairmount Bakeries. Buy one of each to compare. Day 4. Nature and Biodome. Go by metro to the Olympic Park. Visit the Biodome where you walk through recreated ecosystems seeing penguins and lynxes. It is mandatory to book and costs $18. Next door, visit the Botanical Garden. At night, explore the nightlife on Crescent Street or Boulevard Saint Laurent. Staying in a good region will make your trip much easier. The strategy on this route is to split accommodation into 3 bases. In Montreal, the best region is downtown for the practicality of the metro or Old Montreal if you seek historical charm. In Quebec City, the complete experience is staying in the upper town Hauteville, inside the walls, or in the cool Saint Roch neighborhood in the lower part. In Charlevoix, use the town of Bay Saint Paul as a base to explore art galleries and restaurants, or La Malbaie to stay in historic hotels near the casino. We created this personalized map that explains exactly which is the best region in each of these cities. Staying in this marked area, you cannot go wrong. We will leave here on the screen QR code and in the description the link to this map. We created them on the hotel site we always use, as it always has the best prices and free cancellation. And remembering that in this link below, we always organize everything you need to set up your entire trip for the lowest price. The sites we use to build our trips and that have everything much cheaper, such as international eSIM, cell phone chip, discounted travel insurance tickets for all the attractions we mentioned, good and cheap hotels. We have already stayed at the car rental comparator, which is essential for the Charlevoix part, and the global account to carry Canadian dollars, paying much lower fees. Save this page in your favorites. Day 5. Trip to Quebec City. Take the VIA rail train or drive to Quebec City 3 hours. Arrive and go to the hotel. Start walking along Dufferin Terrace in front of Chateau Frontenac, the most photographed hotel in the world. Go down by funicular or stairs to the Petit Champlain district in the lower town. It is the most European place in the Americas. Have dinner at a classic French bistro like Cochon Dingue. Day 6. History and Walls. Visit the Citadel of Quebec, the largest British fortress in North America. Walk on the fortifications walls of the city. Explore Saint-Jean Street, full of local shops and the Boutique de Noël. Have lunch at Aux Anciens Canadiens to taste the tourtière meat pie in a house from 1675. Day 7. Falls and Island. Go to Montmorency Falls, which are higher than Niagara. Cross the suspension bridge, then cross the bridge to the island of Orleans. It is a gastronomic tour stop at the Chocolaterie for Belgian chocolates, at wineries to taste cassis wine, and at farms to buy maple syrup directly from the producer. Day 8. Towards Charlevoix and Baie Saint-Paul. Rent a car if you are not already with one and drive along Route 138 to Baie Saint-Paul 1 hour. This small town is the birthplace of Cirque du Soleil and has more art galleries per capita than anywhere else in Canada. Walk along Saint-Jean-Baptiste Street. Have lunch at Le Saint Pub and taste local craft beers. Day 9. The River Route. Take Road 362 called Route du toward La Malbaie. It is one of the most scenic roads in Canada, bordering the St. Lawrence River with mountain views. Stop at the Saint Joseph de la Rive lookout, visit the Haute Gorge de la Rivière Malbaie National Park, and take the boat tour on the Malbaie River between the fjords. The park ticket costs $7 and the boat about $30. Day 10. Whales in Tadoussac. Continue driving to Baie Sainte Catherine about 40 minutes from La Malbaie. Take the whale-watching boat. It is one of the best places in the world to see humpback whales, fin whales, and the white belugas. The tour lasts 3 hours and costs about $75. In summer, book in advance. Cross the free ferry to visit the village of Tadoussac and see the historic Hotel Tadoussac. Day 11. Flavor Trail. Return towards Quebec, exploring the Flavor Trail Route des Saveurs. Visit Laiterie Charlevoix to taste the 1608 cheese and see the Cheese Museum. Stop at Famille Migneron for wines and sheep cheeses. Have dinner at a farm-to-table restaurant in Baie Saint-Paul. Day 12. Return. Drive back to Montreal Airport about 4 hours, or return the car in Quebec City and take the train to the airport depending on your flight. An important tip is to buy tickets for attractions in advance. The whale boat and the Aura show sell out. We will leave in the QR code on the screen and in the description the link to the site where we always buy tickets for the lowest price. It is the largest tour site in the world, and you buy in dollars, saving fees. Quick shopping tips. In Montreal, the Simon store for clothes. In Quebec, crafts and wool clothes in Petit Champlain. In Charlevoix, gastronomic products like pâté cheeses and ice ciders. And how much does it cost to eat in French Canada? A poutine costs $9. A cheese and cold cuts platter in Charlevoix costs $15. A refined dinner costs about $40. The 15% tip is mandatory. Mandatory documentation for international tourists. To enter Canada, you need to be aware of the current rules. If you are a US citizen, you just need your passport. For other nationalities, check if you need a visa or an electronic travel authorization called ETA, which is cheap, costs $7 Canadian and comes out in minutes. Always check the updated rules with the consulate before boarding, as diplomatic rules can change. And remembering travel insurance. Medical costs in Canada are extremely high, and an emergency can cost thousands of dollars. We never travel without it. And in the link in the description, there is the comparator we use, which always finds insurance for half the price. If you liked this complete itinerary, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much and safe travels.